Well, mate, how are you doing?
I've made a discovery, Franklin.
All right, you've shocked me here because we've been talking off mic and you never gave any indication that you had something to tell me.
Not in the slightest. Now, but here it is.
Cool.
Maghull is home to one of only 3 secure units in Britain.
All right, so you did tell me.
I did, but I had no idea that it was that. Housing like some of the most famous mass murderers in history and stuff like that.
What is it that intrigues us humans in obviously murder and?
I think it's probably the question of why.
Yeah.
Why do they do it? What do they get from it? What's their? Do they have urges, or do they just have a desire to see people hurt, or do they want the satisfaction from power? It's all the psychology behind it, isn't it? And kind of the inner workings of the murderer's mind. It's
a bit like a football, really. The game of football.
I mean, in a way, yeah. They're absolutely fascinating.
I don't know why I throw football. That's a question, but I thought I was going to try to find an avenue back into.
But I've driven past Maghull so many times, and I absolutely no idea. No. But there it is, Maghull, home to
our former goalkeeper Robbie Holcroft. I think he worked in Maghull.
I thought you said he was going to be committed there or something.
And I think Liam Watson, who former manager of Southport, also used to work in the gymnasium there, I think, as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, not a job I would like to do.
It's it's made the town of Maghull an awful lot more interesting, to say the least.
For you, yeah.
Absolutely no idea that this place was still there, really. Anyway, how about you?
Well, you wouldn't want to live locally, would you, by the way?
I should imagine the house prices are quite low.
Well, no, I don't know. Not a bad place. If you go to, is it Maghull North? Is it the new train station there?
Yeah.
We park there when we're going into Liverpool now.
Oh, right.
Because it's relatively quiet. Nice, right bang in the middle of a new housing estate.
Okay.
So if you're a young person, young executive starting out in life, you bought a house up there and you're right on the train line into Central in Liverpool.
Oh, fantastic. Right. You don't drive into the city anymore?
I tend not to now because I think it costs something like £21 to park in the Liverpool One car park for best part of the day. And
is that where you park?
Yeah, I used to, yeah. Because if you're doing shopping and you're carrying bags of shopping around, you want to be able to take it back to your car.
You do. I tend to have a rucksack when I go shopping. See, for us, we I can't remember the name of the car park itself, but it's right behind this really old hotel, just on the fringes of the city centre, where the Irish pub is.
The Adelphi.
Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah, the back of the Adelphi.
Yes. Yeah, we park there. Absolute peanuts. There's no security in that car park whatsoever, but it's good cheap parking. And then we mooch on into town from there.
But it's changed for us because we used to love shopping in Debenhams. Now Debenhams is no longer in business.
Defunct.
So we used to do 3 or 4 floors, whatever it was. Now it's been taken over by... who's it been taken over by?
God, let's say Primark.
I can't remember who's been taken over by.
B&M Bargains. Pound Stretcher.
Who has it been taken over by? I'll have to throw in it. She knows.
She knows, yeah.
Yeah, but we've got a dodgy now. Oh no, I'll tell you what it's been taken over by.
Yeah.
Marks and Spencer's.
Marks and Sparks have taken it over.
Yeah, Marks and Spencer's. Now the Marks and Spencer's that we've got in Liverpool now is a poorer version of the one they used to have in the old Littlewoods.
Oh right.
Shop.
I vaguely remember Littlewoods.
I think it's Littlewoods. I can't remember now. It's terrible. We end up having debates when we're in the car, recalling what shops used to be in what places.
Oh God!
Particularly in Ormskirk, because we've both got an affinity with Ormskirk. I used to go to school there,
right?
And Rowena used to live there. So
okay.
What we do is when we're going past the shop, we randomly ask questions like, "What did that used to be?" I know, yeah.
So how did they... I can imagine that there's an awful lot of them that are sort of no longer. I mean, for me, there's shops like Woolies and BHS, ones like that.
Woolies was certainly a favourite, and another one, a favourite of mine at the time. I used to shop in there every week practically. It used to be Burton's, and that went for a Burton.
Oh,
so that's gone out of business.
I remember Burton. Yeah. I used to use my student discount on £1 jewellery because I was a real cheap sod like that.
Oh,
yeah. Just you get that 10%.
I didn't think you were old enough to have known Burton's, but it's not that far back, I suppose, is it?
No, about 10, 15 years.
I think when they closed it down, they used to have a section of Burton's still in another shop, and it might have been next.
Dorothy Perkins?
It could have been.
Yeah, those two were connected. Dorothy Perkins used to be the women's section, and Burton's was the men's.
But now Ormskirk is a predominantly university student town now. So it's mainly made up of coffee houses, wine bars, and charity shops.
Yeah, yes it is.
Charity. I don't know how, at last count, I think there was around about 25, 26 charity shops in Ormskirk.
No kidding.
Someone will no doubt correct me on that one.
I have to ask Gordon.
Yeah. Well, Gordon lives locally, so he'll know. And he's a councillor, of course, so he should even...
Yep, should have them all on his books.
Yeah, I've just been talking to Gordon earlier on today.
Ooh, okay.
Just on his lunch break, he's doing a course down in London.
Yes, he is, yeah. Sorry, he was checking into a hotel for some reason or another.
Yeah, I was getting a little bit of advice from him, to do with football.
Okay.
Yeah, so I might talk about that later in the show.
Yeah.
Just thinking if there's anything else to discuss, or just my bad back.
You got a bad back, huh?
So yeah, if I cry out in pain during any stage of the show,
it's not because I've kicked him.
No, it's not. But I thought it cracked it. I thought I got the better of it a few weeks ago. I pulled it, and now it's so I had a period of time where it repaired itself to a degree, but it's come back full vengeance now.
Yikes.
The only difference is today is I can actually sit up in one position. Where the pain is relatively not free but easier.
Minor, yeah.
Yeah, easier to accommodate.
Yeah, exactly.
But most of the time now, lying down, walking, it's just. I've had operations on my back before, so I just need to get time. What people don't realise about this football club is it takes up an awful lot of your time. So does the podcast, to be fair, and you tend to put. I don't know whether it's a man thing, but you tend to put everything else above your own health and happiness at times.
Near enough.
I'm probably at that point where I should be going to the doctors. Yeah, it's a caffeine free. If for anybody that doesn't know that, he's just picked up a can of caffeine free Coca-Cola,
which is absolutely essential. I cannot have caffeine for love nor money because it'll give me all the jitters, and Frank will be peeling me off his ceiling.
Well, I haven't even had a proper coffee today.
Attaboy.
But listen, I did that deliberately because I know we've got an important show coming up.
Yes, we do.
So with no further ado, I think we should get on with it, really, shouldn't we?
Let's do it.
Oh, that's a good exit. That's a good exit sound, that is. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ Vignette. Not that being involved with the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the Northwest, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. This is Season 2, Episode 18. A very warm welcome to my co-host, AJ.
Hello Frank, hello everybody. Thank you very, very much for tuning in to another episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. On we go. 18 episodes into Season 2, although some teams have only played about 9, 10, 11, 12 games, so we're flying ahead of the pack here.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes, indeed. So on today's show, we'll do our usual North West Counties roundup, covering the Premier Division, the North and the South. It's FA Vars weekend, so we're going to be discussing the fixtures and also the results from last week. In Controversial Corner, we're going to go to Southport and their little clash with the City of Liverpool. Also a clash of kits in the Southern League Premier Division. And then also Farnham Town and Southend Manor Football Club as well. We don't have a guest on today's show, so you'll have to make do with just us. So Frank, where are we going to start?
Well, we always start with the North West Counties Football League Premier Division, so it seems like, this is a good place to start again. So, Ramsbottom United, the new leaders of the Premier Division after a 3-0 away win at Prestwich Hayes on Saturday. Jacob Holland Wilkinson added 2 more goals to his tally for the season to take it up to 17. Following on from Matthew Dudley's opener midway through the second half, they backed it up with a 4-1 win at home to Barnoldswick on Tuesday night. Doing really, really well.
Very much so. So Padiham had a titanic tussle against Earlham on Saturday, unfortunately coming out on the wrong side of a 2-0 defeat at Silver Street. But never mind, and never want to get battened down too much. They got back to winning ways with a 4-1 home win over Abbey Hay. So they are hot on the heels of Rami in second place by virtue of having played a game less than the leaders and just a point behind them. Now West Didsbury and Chorlton currently in third position, having quite surreptitiously really closed the gap on the top two to 3 points. They beat Pilks and Cheadle in successive matches to get themselves right back in the running of the playoffs. And then Burscough, they won against Barnoldswick and against Stockport Town. And now we move on.
Yeah, well, I mean, is it pretty much the way we envisaged it? I don't think it is, really, is it? We didn't think the top 4 or 5 would be what it is right now. No,
I think both of us had bigger hopes, bigger beliefs for Wythenshawe and Atherton LR. Now, maybe we were pushing the limits on Atherton LR just a bit too high. They're a newly promoted team. So maybe it was overly expectant of us to think that they might be fighting for the playoffs. As for Wythenshawe, that we thought them coming back down from the Northern Premier League West, they might be in with a fighting chance. They are still in 6th, but they are 13 points behind Rami in top spot, although having played 3 games less. So still a bit of ground that Wythenshawe can make up, although I didn't anticipate Burscough sitting in the top 4 at this stage in the season. I really didn't.
I felt as though they could push for promotion. I most definitely thought they'd be in the playoffs, so I'm not surprised it's all there. I think, it's a seasoned team, 1 or 2 new additions. We spoke to Dave Dempsey last week, and he gave us more insight on what's going on at Burscough. Seems to be really exciting times there. Obviously, they've got a distraction this weekend. They'll be in the FA Vars. We'll talk about that later on in the show.
Yep.
So that didn't surprise me. I think Rams, if you were going to put your money on your house on a particular team to win the division right now, who would you aim it at? Who would you throw your money on?
Oh, God, I think it probably would be Ramsbottom. Jacob...
I'd have said Padiham at the beginning.
I think we both did. I think purely by virtue of how much Padiham pushed Lower Brack and the playoff final, and the manner in which they kept up with the top 2 teams in the division. I know they finished 4th eventually, but we just felt that they finished stronger, and even after the loss of Josh Briggs in the off season, they still carry on grinding out results. But Ramsbottom just looking a bit of a different league at the minute. 19 games and 15 wins from that, highest scorers in the division and the best defence in the division. We talk about Jacob Holland-Wilkinson having scored 17 goals, but the goals are coming in from anywhere. Harvey White grabbed a double last week, as was mentioned on the show as well. So I think Rami are probably just really well equipped at this point. But
they're scoring goals, aren't they?
They certainly are.
They've got 50 goals in the bag. They've only conceded 18, which is just marginally less than one goal per game. Listen, if you can keep that around that level, 1.5, 1.1, something like that per game, then you're looking good for the title, I would have thought.
Yeah, almost certainly. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Rami can kind of sustain this. As we say, they're coming under a fair bit of pressure from Padiham and West Didsbury and Chorlton at the minute. Now, I'm not likely to say that their expectation is that this season and this title race is going to run anywhere near as close as what Berries and Lower Brecks gave for us last season, but I don't think it'll be far away. And I wonder whether it'll be more of a two-horse race. I know that West Didsbury, although they have 14 wins from 20 games, they have got 5 losses out of there as well. So could they kind of sustain that, or will they drop off under pressure from teams around them like Burscough, Earlham, Wythenshawe? It'll be interesting to say, but Ramsbottom and Padiham at the minute just looking a bit of a different league. Yeah.
Ramsbottom a run of, I think it's something like 6 or 7 consecutive wins
something
in the league.
Outrageous, isn't it?
That kind of form, if it continues, is great. Like I said, they've got, like a few teams, have got the distraction of the FA Vars this weekend, but they've got a sort of run of teams after that where, I think they've got West Didsbury and Chorlton. That's the Macron Cup, but they've certainly got Wythenshawe and Earlham coming up shortly.
Yeah.
And the run up to Christmas, I think they've got West Didsbury as well. And then listen, we'll come on to the teams that are sort of changing directions, maybe possibly in the lower end of the Division 1, the Premier Division. So Litherland still at bottom. They haven't won a game in 21 outings. It's been a real baptism of fire for their manager, Jamie Rainford.
Yeah.
It isn't easy to see their fortunes changing anytime soon.
No.
But there's no doubt about it. Remy lack a decent centre forward. We've mentioned before, Jamie should don the boots back and come back on. But by all accounts, there's a lack of control in midfield. If they get them sorted out, they get a decent goal scorer and they sort the midfield out, then they start winning games as well.
Yeah, I think from what we've been hearing is their current recruitment isn't bad. I think it just needs 1 or 2 very key players that are going to come in and kind of add that extra momentum to turn the tide. Like I say, they're not fully out of it, but they have got an awful lot of ground to make up on Abbey Hay and AFC Liverpool, who are currently an 8-point gap to bridge between them after 20 games.
But there's plenty to go, and that's the good thing about it. So my Litherland Remica correspondent reliably informs me that, like you say, Jamie's recruitment has been really good so far. But the problem probably they need to sort out with this is discipline. From a 1 to sort of 11 to 11 basis, they've not always been consistent, resulting in 8 red cards and 37 yellows in total. I think they're in the top 2 teams, poorly disciplined.
At least they're top stage. Somewhere.
But listen, you can't expect to win games when you're down a man.
No, you can't. We have been fortunate to get away with it once this season, having 10 men but still winning, but otherwise it's such a difficult gap to bridge at that level, and teams do really take advantage of you being down a man. So yeah, that's an area where they're going to have to improve quite drastically if they're going to get anywhere anywhere out of it.
Yeah. So, listen, on the other hand, Glossop North End have turned their fortunes around a little since Richard Brodie was sacked. They've now won the last 3 games, albeit one was in the Cup. But you have to wonder if he was still in charge, would the same results have occurred. I personally think Brodie was getting there, so I think those results would have come anyway. But it's by the by now, as Ashley Connor has been named as the club's new manager following an outstanding 11-year spell at Golcar United. Don't know a great deal about them, but
they're in the north.
It seems as though his name is known, and as such, he's managed to get the Glossop North End job.
He has.
Do we know anything about him? Does he play for Glossop? Or
I don't know. I've never heard of him.
didn't have enough time to do the research on him. But
no, we're busy, unfortunately. We wish we had like an editor to sort this out, or an exec producer, but we don't. It's just
there's an advert. Go on. Plead for someone.
Yeah, so if you have any experience in executive producing a radio show, a television show, a news show, any kind of show at all, we'd love to interview you for the job. Please apply for said exec producer job at We Could Use Some Help, Please. We Don't Know What We're Doing. The Speaking Like a Friendly Football Show, Dalton, Skelmersdale. What I have to ask as a question is why... Normally in management, if you've been at a club for that long, two things happen. Usually two things happen. You either prolong that until for sort of pushing 20 years, a bit like Brent Peters and Dave Pace have, or you get sacked and then you go to another club. Why has Ashley Connor walked away from Golcar after 11 years to take on the Glossop North End job?
Well... where is it? Golcar, they laterally moved to the northwest, the Northern Counties East League. So that's a Step 5 club. So he's not really, he's laterally moved in terms of his clubs as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe nearer home. I don't know.
After 11 years, though. I mean, you could do with getting him on the show.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's not many people that have spent that long in management. Of course, we know in times gone past, Marines manager, one of the longest...
He's the longest serving manager in like English football history in the non-league.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but...
I've forgotten his name. Unbelievable. Spoken to him loads of times.
Have you?
Yeah.
Rowley Howard, that's it, Rowley Howard. It used to be a window cleaner as well, so I remember that much. 33 years!
I know, yeah.
Swipe me!
Yeah.
1,975 games. I mean, come on. You'd want to get to 2,000, wouldn't you?
Yeah. If you were given the chance, I don't know.
Well, yeah. I don't understand why he walked away.
Listen, at some stage you've got to retire, haven't you?
Well, yeah, but...
spend a bit of time with your grandchildren. Listen, I'm 58 and I'm already thinking about it myself. Anyway, listen, we move on to the First Division North, with Nelson's game against Garstang postponed. McGull are the new leaders after Connor Rankin gave them a 1-0 win over Main Road. One of the form teams that have gone pretty much under the radar is AFC Blackpool. I think we did sort of briefly mention them last week.
Yeah,
they lost their opening 4 games, but now are unbeaten since the end of August.
Yeah.
That's to be said, though, that the North West Counties stated the urgency in getting games completed last season. However, the average number of games played is 11, as opposed to 19 at this stage last season. And I want to throw that back in there. I know we're not in the North West Counties any longer, but we did say at the time that had our games been spaced out a little bit more, we might not have, and we're just saying might not have been in the position where we were at the end of the season, where we were relegated. Very, very difficult to get any momentum going when you're playing Tuesdays, Saturdays, and then you've got long periods where you're not playing at all. So we spent the early part of the season not being able to train, or very little training, so couldn't work on styles, formations, you name it, we couldn't work on it. So I think it might work a little bit better. It might work a little better for the teams that have been down the bottom. And so far it's proven right, really, because Daisy Hill, if you want to mention Daisy Hill.
Yeah, so Daisy Hill are on a really good turnaround at the minute. They've gone now 6 games unbeaten. He's got rid of the driftwood and recruited really well. Has Nicky Hunt, the new manager. He's gone on record saying that from the moment he took the job, his aim was to reach the playoffs. He's only 4 points away from the top 5 now and just 7 points adrift of Nelson in top spot, although having played quite a few games more. Nelson have played 9 and Daisy Hill have played 13. So a few games lost, a few games used up already, but still plenty of time for Daisy Hill to continue their march up the table.
Would you say sanity is restored at Daisy Hill since Nicky's appointment? I believe it to be the case. I think it's brought a little bit more sense.
I think it was always a sensible appointment. I know that they were always they wanted a big name, really, or a name that they felt befitted this new era at Daisy Hill, whereby they're very in the public eye on social media. And Nicky Hunt had cut his teeth in assistant management under Pleggy at Athen Collies, and now it was his turn to kind of go out on his own. I don't think he was ever going to hit the ground running, and I think it would have been unfair to assume that he would. He needed to implement his own style, needed to bring in his own players, and kind of...
Which he's done.
And just manufacture his own vision for how this club was going to run on the pitch. And it seems like it's all coming together. They've spent a bit of money, got some big names in through the door, and, they're now starting to pull together as a team and make that march of the
But
table.
the living within the means, and also they are the spotlight now is shone on the results rather than the social media side of things.
I think you're right, yeah. I think that living within their means was something that they were always capable of doing, because there's an awful lot of money going into that club, as was discussed with Lee Hill when he was interviewed on the show a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So there was never any question that they weren't going to live within their means. But now it's, they're not showing to be wasting their money or, flitting it away on big names. They are using it for big names, but the big names are coming in and gelling well with the rest of the team. And I think that's what's making more sense now.
I feel as though if the momentum carries on, and I think they've got a good run of fixtures where they should get some points out of them as well.
Yeah.
They'll get themselves into that playoff position. I think the two things could work together. I think the social media and the results could combine to bring a lot more people to the stadium, to the Ginge Power Stadium,
I think
and give them a real genuine push for the Northwest Counties Premier Division.
It could possibly. They've still got quite a bit of work to do, but they are making some good progress here. I think we'll see them in and around the playoffs come the end of the season. Same with AFC Blackpool, Darwin, and Nelson and McGull. I think those will be the top 5 teams right around there. Yeah.
So moving on to the bottom of the table, Ashton Athletic second from bottom with Garstang propping everyone else up. And I don't normally mention a team that's sort of in the top 5 in the same breath as I do relegation, but you would look at Droylsden's defeat 4-3 to Fulwood Amateurs. I think they're in the bottom 3, certainly bottom 3, 4 or 5 teams in terms of 4. So they're not really doing particularly well. You have to go back as far as the game against Bacup on September the 13th since they last registered a win, and that's unlucky for some.
Part of it's very unlucky for some. I think the other issue is that, Droylsden have now lost 3 games in a row. This team is naturally quite a big name at this level, still commanding enormous gates at the Butcher's Arms, but even the gates are dropping off slightly. It's been said around most of the Droylsden fans that what they're lacking is a big name goal scorer. So they have Nelson Van, who is notching goals as much as what he can do, but it appears that he's alone in that regard. But I think the other issue as well, if you're looking at the table long term, Droylsden's defence is actually quite leaky. They've conceded 22 goals in 13 games, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but all the other teams around them haven't conceded anywhere as near. Nelson conceded 13, Darwin 14, Ashton Town 17, Hoggerall Boys 8. In fact, Maghull are top, having conceded 22 goals, but have scored 34 compared to Droylsden's 30. So the numbers tell a bit of a different story there. But Droylsden have lost nearly as many games as what they've won. 6 wins, 2 draws, 5 losses all told. They're still very much within the top 3, but things are getting away from them just a little bit now.
Yeah. And talking about the form, they're in the bottom, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the fourth bottom. They've won 1, drawn 1, lost 4, scored 7, conceded 12. So they've got to do something. They've got to do something quick there.
Yes, they do.
Because, like you say, the gates will drop off even further if they don't.
Yeah, the gates. When we went to Droylsden last season, the gates were around about the 700 mark. The game that they played most recently at home, which I believe was a 0-0 draw against, I think it might have been Thornton Cleveley's. They registered just over 400, which is still really good at this level.
Fantastic, we kill for that. What we do know is in Droylsden that if Manchester United or Man City are playing on the same day at home, then they tend to have less gates. From what I gathered anyway.
Yeah, so where the Butcher's Arms is, it's almost within the shadow of the Etihad Stadium. Yeah. So I think a lot of fans are more inclined to go and watch Droylsden play when they're, when City are playing away.
And certainly when they're doing well. So if they're not doing well, then they're going to
flitter away, aren't they?
Yeah, most definitely.
It's fan fickle at its finest.
Yeah, it most definitely is. So listen, we'll move on to First Division 1 South.
Yep.
First of all, congratulations to the Shawbury United manager Richard Brown. Managed his 100th game for the club on Saturday. Wow. It wasn't his finest moment, however, as Steve Hull scored a first half hat-trick for Allscott Heath as they went down 6-0. It's been an overall disaster as they've conceded 19 goals in 3 games. And based on that, you'd have to say poor old Richard will sadly struggle to get to the 200 mark in charge at this rate.
So Shawbury United were one of those teams that we earmarked to be in danger of relegation last season. Now, as luck would have it, they kind of got themselves together and pulled away from the relegation zone. But
they're okay at the moment.
They really are. Yeah, Shawbury are 15th out of the 19 teams in the First Division South, but they're just on a really poor run at this rate. They've lost their last 4 games in a row and 5 out of the last 6, and conceded 28 goals across those 6 games, having scored just 7. So the results against them are quite emphatic at this rate, and it's kind of really interesting to see how they're going to manage this. I believe that they've had a bit of a turnaround in players, and they've managed to bring in quite a number of them, during the week.
And that can take a little bit of time to gel, can't it?
It certainly can. Yeah. So I'm just looking at the registrations and transfers now. I know Wolverhampton Sporting Community are another team that have brought in a lot of players at this point. Let's have a look.
Hopefully it has the desired effect for them. It doesn't always work out that way though, does it? That's the problem.
No, it doesn't. So they brought in two players, both on the 30th of October, Charlie Priest and Ben Jones. Now, whether they've gone straight into the team lineup, I'm not 100% sure. But as you say, it takes time for these teams to gel, and unfortunately Shawbury are starting to struggle again.
Yeah, and a lot of those teams around the sort of the drop zone are not particularly doing well. Nobody's sort of making moves or winning games.
No.
So the 3 points clear of the drop zone at this moment in time, but they're hemorrhaging goals left, right and centre.
Yeah, they are.
And you'd have to say it doesn't really look good unless they can sort that out. Maybe them 2 signings that they've made are defensive minded people.
Yeah, you'd hope so. So yeah, they lost to Allscott Heath 6-0. They lost to New Mills 7-0, and they lost to Stafford Town 6-2. So yeah, really, really unfortunate results for Richard Brown and his side there. Charlie Priest is indeed a goalkeeper and did indeed make his debut in that game against Allscott Heath. So,
do you think far too often that goalkeepers are the fall guys for results? I mean, I look at we'll go into more detail about our game on Saturday at the end of the show, but I felt very much as though we weren't as competitive in the midfield as we should have been, putting more pressure on the defence and ultimately putting pressure on the goalkeeper. So the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes just replacing the goalkeeper isn't the answer.
No, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to do as much. No, and.
It's simple mathematics, really.
It is simple mathematics.
If you're not scoring goals, you're not defending from attack, and you're not defending in midfield. Then your defenders and you're
just getting overrun
pressure all the time.
Yeah, you're just getting overrun.
Yeah,
and I think that's a major component of what Shawbury are experiencing, or certainly have been in the last 3 games. But yeah, I think the goalkeeper more often than not is the fall guy. For those kind of results, unfortunately.
Most definitely. Listen, at the top of the table, Runcorn Town are 6 points ahead of Eccleshall, following their 1-0 win over rivals Telford Town, are still top, believe it or not, of the form guide. Now, we don't talk about Eccleshall often, but they seem to have crept into contention.
They have.
Without us even realising.
Yeah, absolutely. No chance that I saw this one coming. So, usually when we talk about the First Division South, we talk about Runcorn Town, Telford Town, Stafford Town, Sandbach United. Yeah. But Eccleshall, just out of nowhere, slowly and quietly, have shot themselves up. So they beat Telford Town 1... sorry, no, they didn't. Who did Eccleshall beat? For Pete's sake, I was on a really good run there. And now it's just gone to absolute...
listen,
absolute
don't call me two-take Frank for nothing.
Yeah. So Eccleshall, they beat Wolverhampton Casuals by 3 goals to 1, and perhaps that was a result that we expected would happen, particularly given Wolverhampton Casuals' quite parlous position down at the bottom end of the table. But Eccleshall have done it in a bit of style, and indeed in the last sort of 6 games or so, they've taken 3 wins from that. There have been 2 losses out of there, but nonetheless their results are far more positive than negative, and they're actually up to second in the table now, and have a game in hand on Runcorn Town at top, which could actually take them within 3 points of the top spot. They're on a tremendous run.
I've been trying to find their manager, so we can get in touch with him and get him on the show. So if he's listening,
didn't I already send you a screenshot?
Please get in touch. Pardon?
I'm sure I already sent you a screenshot. I'm sure it's
right, I didn't know it was
Liam
his.
Something or other. Liam Kelly.
So he's on social media, is he?
He is, yeah.
Right, okay.
Screenshotted you his Twitter. Yeah, Liam Kelly. So if you're around, or if you're listening to this show,
let's get you on the show
and
talk about
come
your
on the show.
success.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. He's also a barber.
He's also a barber
and a habitual marathon runner.
All right. Well, so there's a bit of both here, isn't there? I'm bald.
Yeah.
And you're a sort of Ironman.
No, I'm not an Ironman. I attempted one.
You attempted to be an Ironman, yeah?
I run. That's all. That's all. But interesting.
Yeah. At the bottom of the table, Wolverhampton Sporting Community are propping up Ormond, who were battered 7-0 at Cheadle Heath Nomads. The Nomads had scored previously just 7 goals in their previous 5 games.
Yeah, and
so they did really well against.
I mean, way to open the floodgates here in style against Hormond. That result throws Cheadle Heath Nomads up to 12th in the division and makes their goal difference look far more healthy than what it was a week prior to it, having now scored 25 goals in 16 games. But that result leaves Hormond again in another perilous position. They're 5 points clear of Wolverhampton Sporting Community, but having also conceded goals at an alarming rate. They're now 55 goals conceded in 16 games, which I think is about 3 or 4 per game. So it's looking a bit dangerous for Hormond at the minute between them and Wolverhampton Sporting Community. It is going to be difficult.
It's so disheartening, isn't it, when you're at that the wrong end of the table, because I feel as though as much effort as you'd normally put in, even if you were at the top of the division, goes into running a football club, both on and off the field. In terms of training, management, the directors and what goes on off the field. But the amount of effort that players put in as well. I mean, we can't always say that they don't put effort in.
True.
They're either not up to that sort of grade.
Or they're coming up against teams far more established and superior than themselves.
But listen, that wraps up things for the Northwest Counties. Of course, in the second part of the show, we will talk about the forthcoming fixtures for the weekend, including the FA Vars, which we'll briefly mention the FA Vars now, because at the weekend
there was a fixture.
There was a fixture, yes, and it was the return of the game that got quite controversially replayed in the end. So it was the game versus Holker Old Boys versus Wythenshawe. So in the original encounter, Holker won on penalties. However, the FA ordered a rematch after the referee made an error in administering the shootout.
Yes, he did.
The incorrect use of a player in the shootout meant that the tie had to be replayed in full. Now, Holker Old Boys managed to beat Wythenshawe 2-1, so I think it was 2-1. And justice was done in the end, I suppose, or parity was restored, what you want to call it.
I think so, I think between the pair of us, it was reasonably agreed that Holker Old Boys shouldn't have had to replay that game because it was the referee that applied the rules incorrectly, and it's no fault of Holker Old Boys. And, down at this level, those kind of mistakes cost teams money, particularly when the FA decide that they're going to have a fixture replayed. And it's not exactly like Wythenshawe is just round the corner from Holker Old Boys Stadium up in Cumbria. So they've made the long journey back up north again, and Holker Old Boys have won that game.
Yeah, and listen, we'll talk about the prize money in the second part of the show.
Yes.
Because like you say, the prize money that you get, quite derisory, doesn't really sort of compensate for that kind of travelling, and bearing in mind that you're splitting the costs of the Gators, splitting the profits of the game, which don't always show a profit, do they?
No.
Anyway, but listen, we'll talk about the FA Vars at the end of the show. But listen, let's move on to Marine. Lost at home to AFC Fylde at the weekend, but they managed to get a point at Chester on Tuesday, though they'll be disappointed as they conceded in the 7th minute of injury time. And by all accounts, Bobby Grant was sent off for trying to delay the restart of the game. Maybe you know a little bit more about this than I do. No,
I'm only seeing to you what I'm saying on paper. Those are 2 hard games. So we know that AFC Fylde came down into the into the Northern Prem from the National League last season. They're always going to be a bit more of a heavyweight team.
Sorry, the National League North.
Yeah, National League North. Yeah,
from the National League. Yeah. Yeah, I thought you said something.
No.
Northern Premier.
But anyway, so there's no shame in losing that kind of fixture. But they will be pleased to get a point against Chester, who, by all accounts, massive club though they are having a very, very difficult season themselves. I think they're currently sitting around about 17th in the table at the minute.
They might consider this to be a bit of a sort of character builder because they've managed to get back in the game so late, so they snatched a draw from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah, they have, and I think Chester will probably be the more relieved team to come away with any kind of result at all. And I think Bobby may be disappointed about that one, but on the whole, he'll see his team move up. They've maintained their position in 12th. But they're right hot on the heels of Chorley and Buxton, just up ahead of them with a game in hand.
They're doing okay, aren't they?
They're doing just fine, and I think for his first season in charge, Bobby should be pleased with what's going on so far. This time last season they were in such a difficult position that we didn't know if they were going to survive. Whereas right now they are, how many points clear of the drop now? About 6. 6 points clear of the drop zone, and bearing in mind we're about a quarter of the way through the season, so there's plenty of time and opportunity for which to build on that. Only thing I will say about Marine is that goal scoring is a problem. Yeah, they've scored just 16 goals in 15 games and conceded 24. Now, the defence isn't necessarily a massive problem because teams around them have conceded pretty much the exact same amount of goals anyway. But goal scoring, the teams around them are scoring sort of high 20s to low 30s, and Marine have scored 16. So that is going to be an issue for Bobby that he's going to need to address sooner rather than later, although I'm sure he knows that.
Yeah, he'll be facing a dugout ban as well, I would imagine.
Yes, I think he would.
So that won't help the club. But listen, moving on to Southport, they've had a really, really good week. Home draw against Kings Lynn Town at the weekend was followed up by a 2-1 win at Buxton.
Yes.
I would imagine they'll be kicking themselves now because the result against Peterborough Sports when they were 2-1 up, and they were sort of coasting the game up to the 83rd minute, and then they lost the lead and lost the game.
Yes, they did. That was so frustrating, that one. Yeah, I mean, we reported on it last week that they were leading 2-1 with 7 minutes of time to go. Peterborough Sports equalised in the 83rd minute, and then in the 97th minute of the game, they scored the winning goal. Bearing in mind as well that Peterborough Sports had been down to 10 men since before the hour mark as well. So just to compound Neil Dan's misery, losing from a very advantageous winning position. But nonetheless, where we thought his job might be, under a bit more strain, they've actually come out of it a little bit better. So they managed a 0-0 draw with Kings Lynn Town. That's fine. That's a point on the board. You can't argue with that. And then beating Buxton. High up in the league of Buxton. They're sitting 11th now, but they were in the top 10 before that. And then they beat them by 2 goals to 1.
But just going back to what I was saying, had they beat Peterborough Sports and they were coasting the game, then they'd have been out of the bottom 4. The reason I mention it is because they've got a bit of a difficult run to come. So it'll be interesting to see whether their improvement is short-lived.
They do, yeah. So they've got to visit Hereford this Saturday. That's followed by Tuesday night hosting against Chester, which isn't bad considering how bad a run Chester are on recently. They've then got the FA Trophy next Saturday, where they'll take on Buxton again before home matches against Kidderminster and Radcliffe. None of those games are particularly easy, but I think Neil Dans is probably going to go into that with a little bit more optimism than he was.
Yeah, certainly. Listen, move on to Prescot Cables. They return to win in Ways with a fantastic 2-0 win at Rushall.
Yep.
We'll look at Bury. Bury have dropped from their brief stop at the top of the division. They lost to Mossley and drew to Vauxhall, but their home win against Kidsgrove Athletic on Saturday means that they've managed to get themselves into the top 3 again.
Yep.
But Lower Brecker still top with a 5-point lead over Avro following another superb win, 4-1 win at Nantwich Town at the weekend.
Yeah.
They will face Avro next Wednesday in what promises to be a bit of a firecracker.
Absolutely will. I mean, we know that both teams are a bit gung-ho when it comes to actions on and off the pitch.
Passionate?
Passionate, yes.
Yeah.
and now we will see it on the pitch. I'm just stunned. Do you ever imagine that Lower Breck were going to do this? Do you imagine any promoted team doing this?
No.
I can't.
I think we've spoken to a few managers. We spoke to Dave Dempsey last week.
Yeah.
And he hinted, and we've heard other managers hint that they think that there's no stopping Lower Breck this season.
I think you might be right. Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect them to prolong this kind of form. After this kind of start to the season. I really didn't. I thought they'd drop off. But it's just incredible, isn't it? Really, just how well they are doing.
It is, because if you go further back than that, it's not so long ago since they were playing in the Liverpool County Premier League.
Our division, no.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I think it was only about 5-6 years ago, something like that. One thing I will say is Avro do have a game in hand on Lower Breck, so that 5-point gap could be down to 2 if Avro win their game in hand, which is against Chasetown.
So who've got Lower Breck? Who've Lower Breck got on Saturday?
So Lower Breck have Stockton. They've got to play Stockton at Stockton at the weekend before taking on Stalybridge on the 8th of November. And then they've got Stalybridge on Saturday, and then they've got Avro on November the 12th.
Yeah.
Massive game.
So in terms of looking at the management, we know what the players are doing because they're keeping them at the top. But we had Gary Moore on the show last season, didn't we?
We did.
He's having a tremendous run with this football club.
It certainly is.
I mean, we do say that there's a limit as far as you can take a football club. We don't know how far that is with Lower Breck. Certainly, if it's anything to do with ground facilities, then they're sort of meeting their limit right now. But that doesn't mean to say Gary Moore has... obviously gaining a really, really good reputation for himself.
Massively, yeah. So Gary Moore's been there for how many years now? It's about 4.
I'm not too sure. I think he's been there all throughout, hasn't he?
Is he? Right.
I'm not too sure.
It might even be over 10 years. And you've got to wonder whether Gary Moore's got whether he wants that ambition to go higher if it's without Lower Breck. Would he? I don't know. I think he's very, very loyal to that team, and I think he'd probably want to stay there through any kind of rebuild or maintenance that they have. I think he's just along for the ride with Lower Breck, and he's not really that bothered about being on any other team.
Your stock goes up while you're successful.
Oh, God, yeah.
The problem is that if you stay at a team too long, then your stock becomes a little bit less.
Yeah, it dwindles.
My feeling is a little bit with... I think if you look at Dave Jones at Atherton LR now, no disrespect to him or Atherton LR, but this is a transitional season for him. It's a learning curve. You hope that he starts getting closer to them playoffs. If he gets into them playoffs, it's a success for them. His stock is still top value. Oh, yeah. Anything less than that?
Do you reckon?
In terms of ambition, where do you... I don't know. I'm just saying that you can stay at a club too long. And I'm not suggesting, because it's really, really...
I think that's a loyalty thing, and I think...
But if you're a player at a football club, and your stock value keeps going up all the time, eventually you're going to get noticed by the scouts and you're going to move on to a better club, a bigger and a better club. That's the way it goes. Yeah. It should be pretty much similar for a manager if you've got the ambition. Like you said, we don't know what Gary Moore's ambition is.
Yeah, which you've got then... ambition versus loyalty. We know that Gary Moore's been there for ages, years and years.
But we know there's very, very rare do you see much loyalty, particularly at this level of football.
This is true. And I think for as long as Lower Breck keep climbing, I think Gary Moore will be a part of that. But I think it will be a very big question about when Lower Breck stop climbing. Does Gary's stock kind of go with him to the higher uppers, or does he stay with Lower? I mean, it's the same with Dave. You know, once Atherton LR reach their peak and they just kind of, you know, maintain position where they are, whether that's in the Northwest Counties or the Northern Prem West, wherever they go, does he stay or does he climb on up? Bearing in mind there is a big age difference between Gary and Dave. So Dave's more likely to have a bit more of a higher career, you would think, if he wanted it.
Listen, talking about loyalty and just going slightly off course, really, I'd just like to wish Darius Woolridge all the very best in the future. He's left the club, just news that came through there. When we talk about loyalty, that lad has been, for the last couple of season and a bit, has been very, very loyal to the club, turned up to almost every single training session, getting relatively little opportunity to play in the first team. But just like to say, the greatest of respect to Darius, because, and I hope that, he gets game time somewhere else.
Yep.
And manages to get where he wants to get. But listen, I spent a lot of time with Darius, picking him up from various train stations and taking him to the game. So got a lot of good words to say about Darius. He's a great man.
Yeah. Good luck to you, Darius.
Yeah.
All the best.
Listen, we're going to move on to controversial corner. Not that we've not already been controversial, but it was something that we missed off last week's show, and it's still sort of relevant now. Is Southport went to war with the City of Liverpool a couple of weeks over alleged non-payment of loan fees relating to Finlay Heath and former Skem player Renato de Oliveira Gomez. As a result, Southport will not be hosting or participating in the forthcoming Liverpool County FA Senior Cup fixture against City of Liverpool, saying it's entirely unacceptable to incur further costs or extend hospitality to a club that has repeatedly disregarded its financial and professional responsibilities. Obviously, the City of Liverpool have responded by saying we will not be bullied into making erroneous payments by any club, and contrary to their statement, have made our position entirely clear to them and the appropriate football authorities and are not subject to any action by any authority. Both clubs have gone into detail on their version of events, but I don't think that either club comes out of this looking good. I believe it should have been dealt with privately, or at least privately until they had the meeting with the County FA, which I believe took place on Monday the 27th of October. But so far we've not received any updates whatsoever. Have you got any updates at all?
I haven't got any updates for it. No, I just think it's a bit of a popcorn clash, really, isn't it? They've just decided to air their dirty laundry on social media rather than... If it was me, I'd have contacted the County FA and informed them that this was what our intention was going to be, and then I'd probably make a very brief statement about it on social media to say that we won't be hosting City of Liverpool in the County FA Senior Cup.
But they should have left it until the hearing took place in the first instance.
Yeah,
but then I don't know whether the game should have been played before then, so maybe that they had to then. But I've not looked that too deep into it. But there's not a great deal of information on it, other than the fact that Southport believed their own money by City of Liverpool, and City of Liverpool haven't paid it. And this is a story.
Don't believe that they owe it.
Yeah, and this is a story that's reoccurred in the last couple of years since City of Liverpool have been struggling financially. But listen, hopefully it'll resolve itself. I don't think it will, but
I think they've got to resolve it with as much dignity as what they can do at this rate, because it just looks like a slanging match.
Yeah. So, kick clash.
Yeah.
Go on.
All right, so the Southern League Premier Division South fixture between Havant and Waterlooville and Farnham Town was postponed following discussions between the match officials and both clubs about a tear in the pitch that was deemed unplayable. The story appeared to have a twist in it, as Farnham had turned up in a kit which clashed with the home team. The game was delayed so that Farnham could retrieve a more suitable kit, which they did. Whilst retrieving the kit, the tear in the pitch was noticed and repaired, but not to the satisfaction of the Farnham Town management team, who consulted with the officials. During this meeting, the Farnham Town manager made it clear that he felt the pitch was not safe to play on, and the referee had no option but to confirm that the game was to be postponed. Astonishingly, after this, the Farnham side then prepared to train on the pitch in the same area that they had declared unsafe in their opinion, according to Havant and Waterlooville. This is a case of insinuation and a case for it can be understood. Now then.
Yeah, well, I think it's an odd one in terms of... we'd already knew that the pitch was in a little bit of a mess. State
of disrepair, yeah.
So, yeah, but it's just, I think because they've come with the wrong kit.
Yeah.
It gives the impression that something else is. It's a little bit more complicated than it was.
I don't know whether. Do you reckon they made a bit of a mountain out of a molehill there? Do you reckon there was some kind of ulterior motive for not wanting to play the game, given the issue with the kit and then the pitch?
If a pitch is unplayable, it's unplayable, and that is a discussion for the officials. You wonder whether the officials are being slightly intimidated by the management team and said, "Listen." I think the minute you mention safety. You've got to take it really, really seriously.
Got a bit of a duty of care. Yeah, I think the referees have to look at that one with as much duty of care, openness as possible. But to then start to train on the pitch in that same area that they declared unsafe,
no,
hypocritical.
But listen, I don't understand it. But listen, Farnham Town are not sort of. I don't know. They're not.
Not backing down or accepting it, are they?
No, they're not really doing themselves any favours by the way that they use their use of social media, should I say. So an official Farnham Town Twitter page has also come under scrutiny as the administrator has been using language that is considered industrial. I don't know whether you've read it or not.
Industrial? No. Have you read it?
Yeah, he uses the word F.
Did it?
Yeah, have a look at it if you want. But what I'm saying is there any room on social media? They're a step 4 club, aren't they? Is this step 4?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
step 4. You'd expect a little bit more professionalism, wouldn't you?
Probably would expect.
That said, they'll probably say that about my stuttering.
It's not quite the same, is it?
I know, just trying to. The thing is that when you get a story like this, it's so complex, and you're thinking to yourself, where do you what angle do you go in on this story? Because the initial statement was that they'd come along with a kit that was going to clash with them, and then since then they've gone on social media showing kit clashes that are not kit clashes. You know what I mean?
Have they?
Yeah,
God.
Well, someone has.
See, I'm looking at their official.
I know they've got a bit of a sense of humour, which is fair.
Yeah, having a bit of a sense of humour is one thing, but yes, there it is. Yeah. Found it.
Yeah.
To be fair, it was a free header.
A free header.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, but is there any need for the food?
No, they're a step 3 team as well,
Step
so that
3.
makes it even all the more sort of ridiculous that they're using that.
less
I think it's fine for teams down at our level because, like you say, we're not that close to being professional, whereas those guys, they nearly are. So I'd have expected a bit more dignity and grace in doing that.
So if you haven't sort of Waterloo groundsman, you should be well aware of the condition of your pitch before the game is played.
Yeah, and I think
for Farnham to travel all the way to that, I don't know what the distance is between the two.
Well, Farnham's in Portsmouth, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not a great deal of difference then, is there?
Not
a great deal of travelling, but not the point really. If you're the groundsman, you should know what condition your pitch is.
Yes, you should.
To God.
Yes, you should.
And then you should be reporting on it, or you should be making it better.
Yeah. Definitely.
They could have got the game postponed in advance. But listen,
ideally, yes.
Like I say, the story was highlighted more due to the fact that there was a kit clash originally, and then there was a bit petty. A tear found in the pitch.
A tear found in the pitch. I think they've made mountains out of molehills here as well, and I think there's something a bit sniffy about how much effort Farnham have gone to get this game postponed.
Allegedly. Anyway, listen, go on. This is a story that you picked up.
Yeah, sacked via WhatsApp. So Southend Manor employed a manager called Joe Connor, and they announced it a couple of days, or in fact the day before they were due to play Cogsall. They played Cogsall and lost 3-0 with Joe Connor in charge. Joe then put up on his own Twitter feed a screenshot of a text message from the chairman of the club, Jerry Amanguk, and it was to inform him that he'd been sacked. The The text message reads, Afternoon, Joe. I would like to inform you that thanks for the last few months working with us, and today we have to part company with you, and good luck for your future, and we'll be looking for a manager. Thanks. So I don't know which one I'm more insulted by, the fact that he was fired by a text message, or the appalling English in which it was written. Anyway.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, first of all, it has to be said that he'd only been in charge for one game, hadn't he?
Yes, he had one game.
Was he part of the original management staff? I
think he was, yeah. He was
that?
One of the assistants, and I think he stepped up. He was interim manager first.
That's right, yeah.
And then he stepped up to be the full-time manager a week ago. And then was oversaw the game against Cogsall, which they summarily lost by 3-0 and ended up with 10 men in the game too.
Yeah. So listen, question is there a good way to sack a manager?
Yeah, always. There's always a very much decorumed way of doing things, and it's not by text message.
Is there a good way of resigning?
Yeah.
So if somebody was to resign by text message, it wouldn't feel as bad as it does if somebody gets sacked by text.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's far more resources available to the club to bring somebody in, whereas, I mean, maybe Joe Connor isn't getting paid at this level, but nonetheless, the inconvenience of, abandoning all of his plans for the next game and the next training session will absolutely be there.
So, which way is better to sack a manager?
If you're going to sack a manager, I think you've got to call them. Right.
I've sacked 3 managers in my sort of 2 tenures as a football chairman.
Yep.
On those 3 occasions, they were all face-to-face.
Wow, okay.
On my last occasion, I did it by phone.
Oh.
Which I wouldn't normally do. But sometimes there is a reason for doing that, because things move very fastly. And when you're making changes, sometimes you have to make them quickly.
Yes.
And if you're trying to set up a meeting with someone, particularly in non-league football, when people are working, I'm working, he's working.
Yeah. It's
then
not so easy.
It's not so easy. So on the last occasion, I did it by phone call, and I wasn't particularly happy doing that. I'd rather have done it face to face. I am normally a face to face kind of guy, yeah. But I didn't do it on that occasion. I don't think there would be ever a reason why I would do it by text.
No.
Unless something had happened behind the scenes.
But even then it's got to be pretty controversial in order for a text message.
Well, it's controversial enough, isn't it, anyway? Because when you sack a manager, everybody wants to know what the excuse is, what the reason is.
Yeah, true.
Of course, when we sack Nick Matthews, everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can only tell them a certain amount before it becomes a boxing match.
Yeah.
Well, a boxing match more than anything. And nobody wants to get embroiled in one of them. So we don't know the reasons why he's been sacked.
No.
But yeah, it's not done in the correct manner.
No, that wasn't done in the correct manner, and I think if I was Joe, I'd be feeling very bitter about that. I'm sure he'd put a lot of time and effort, not only into being manager, but being interim manager, maybe being on the coaching staff before that as well. I'd be very bitter if it was me. So I can understand why Joe would feel the need to put that up on social media, because it's just not the correct way of doing things. I mean, we at Skem want to conduct ourselves in as much of a professional manner as what we possibly can do, and I think if you were going to text a manager to say that he's not wanted anymore, or that results haven't been good enough or whatever, I think that probably undermines your capacity to be professional.
In the modern era, slightly off course really, are most people dumped by text these days?
God!
At the end of a relationship?
I'd
like to know what the percentage is on that.
I would hope not.
Yeah. You hear a lot of it though, don't you?
Yeah. God, no. I think if you're going to break up with somebody, you've got to have a phone call at least.
Well, I read something on Twitter where a bloke had gone into a pub, and he had actually witnessed his girlfriend with another bloke, and she was texting at the time, and then a ping came through and she said, "You're dumped." She wasn't aware he was there.
Yikes.
Yeah. Uncomfy or what?
Oh,
Anyway, listen, I think it talks about comfort, doesn't it? And it talks about professionalism. Anyway, and I don't think that it's the best way to do
it's not.
Text message. But listen, we're going to come on to something that's really, really close to me at this moment in time. And I'm talking about ultimate blame here as a headline. So my question to you is, as a custodian of a football club, whether you're press officer or chairman, whatever level you are at a football club, when a game on and off the pitch is called into disrepute, who do you believe should be the first person or organisation that you should go to, or I should go to? Where should we go when we've got a grievance?
The local FA.
No, your first port of call has got to be your league, surely.
Oh yeah, sorry, your local. Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. So you go to the league. Anything above that, you go to your county FA, and then you go to the national FA, whatever. But ultimately, you'd sort of hone it in on.
You keep it local.
You'd keep in. Maybe in an advisory capacity, and I'll come into that in a minute. So my observations about a recent game: 1. Just because it wasn't seen doesn't mean to say it didn't happen. 2, just because someone said it never happened doesn't mean it didn't happen.
That's a lot of he said, she said.
Yeah. So, okay, we understand that at this level, it's very, very rare that there's any video evidence available. So then we're going from a person's word or even several people that can either say it rather than prove it. But the law states witness testimony is evidence. The most common misunderstanding is the belief that evidence must be physical or forensic, in brackets like DNA or fingerprints. A witness's oral statement given under oath, in brackets testimony, it is itself a form of direct evidence. Yep. In some cases, a conviction can be based solely on a compelling and credible witness statement without any supporting physical evidence. And point 2 is credibility is key. In cases relying solely on a witness statement, the credibility and the reliability of the witness become crucial. The defence will challenge the witness's account through cross-examination to introduce a doubt. So I know this is not a court case.
No.
And I'm not trying to say that. The aim of my point isn't to convict someone. When someone's trying to point out what's gone on, then there should be a reaction or a warning of consequences. Otherwise, lawlessness prevails. Mm-hmm. Now, do we know where we're going on, or do you know where I'm going on this? You do.
Yes, but it's for you to kind of talk about on this one.
I know, yeah. And I'm trying to be very careful here, because I'll turn my attention to referees and their assistants being intimidated on the pitch. I've witnessed it in the league that we're in. But unless someone's brave enough to stand against it, it will continue. Too many people in the dugouts running down the line to hail abuse of the assistant referees, encroaching on the pitch, coaching within the barriers on the opposite sides of the pitches. And then, before noting that in itself, at a recent game we witnessed beer being consumed as well as smoking in the dugouts. But because grassing, the word that's been used, is frowned upon at this level, it gives a false representation of how poor discipline actually is. And by that, what I mean is that people are not reporting it. So the assumption is that it's a well-disciplined league. I don't believe it to be so. And I know I'll probably get myself into trouble for them words, but I stand by every single word I've mentioned. What do you make of it?
Well, we're going to break that down into a couple of different pieces. So the first one is the refereeing. So in your view, if there is unprofessional behaviour on the pitch at the time, is it the referee's responsibility to uphold the laws and standards of the game of football at our level and ask managers to stop encroaching on the pitch, stop smoking, stop drinking? What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. It's entirely up to the referee. And as been pointed out to me, is that we can't actually do anything about that physically when the game goes ahead.
No.
I'm well aware of that. My point was that all of these things did happen.
Yep.
I wouldn't just say it if they didn't happen.
No.
I've got support from other people to collaborate this.
Yep.
They've seen it as well. They've witnessed it, including the melee at the end of the game.
Yep.
Handbags, albeit.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the referee leaving the pitch before the players have. That's another incident that was reported. That came back to me as that didn't happen. And another thing about paying officials before the game has started. I was asked by the referee to pay, if I could pay him before the game starts, because he wanted to get off quickly after the game. Couldn't, because we didn't have enough money coming through the turnstiles to pay for it. That's come back as that didn't happen. That wasn't said. It was said about is there any chance of paying me earlier?
Yeah.
But it's been forgotten, the fact that he left the pitch early, and he'd already stated to me that he wanted to get off from the game as soon as he possibly could. Now, yes, he will have his version of it. I'm giving my truth of it. Fact. The conversations I had with him.
Yep.
I should have had conversations with him after the game. I should have gone and knocked on his door when it was appropriate and had a word with him. I didn't. But everything else that went on, and as I've stated, happened. That's absolutely happened. So in terms of the referee, yes, the referee should be acting out and using his authority to discipline people that are doing things wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at one stage, Barney, our assistant manager, said to the assistant linesman referee on his side, "Is that acceptable?" And he pointed to the dugout, and he pointed out the smoking and the drinking, and the assistant referee didn't do anything about it. So my point is, yes, they're officiating, they're in charge of the discipline and control of that game, and they should be seen to be doing exactly that. For some reason, they didn't. The point I've made to the league is, when that breaks down, who do we go to? Do we go to the FA, or do we go to you first? In my expertise or sort of experience in the North West Counties Football League, if you ever had an issue, you spoke to the league. In fact, we used to have representatives of the league that would go in and see the manager. They would go in and see the referees or the assistants after a game to tell them where they'd gone wrong. That was as well as a referee's, what are they called these days?
Assessor,
yeah. So they would get it double-barrelled. So my opinion is that if it's breaking down, if clubs are not adhering to the rules, then somewhere along the line, the league has got to reinstate those rules and make sure that they're adhered to.
Yep.
And if that means to send more representatives down to games to witness what's going on and keep a clear eye on it, then that's what they should be doing. We already know what happened in the division below when the young lad got his head kicked in.
Yeah, literally fractured the skull.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that that could have been stopped on the day, but we've got to look at ways of making it tougher for people to encroach on the pitch. We can only provide so many stewards for the game.
Yep.
But if you can't enforce the rule by having more people at the game to sort it out, then you've got to discipline the teams that are breaking those boundaries. So that's my opinion. Yeah, I can understand that at the end of the day, when a game, when that whistle gets blown, there's not a great deal that the league can do about it on that particular day.
No.
But I do think that they have to think long and hard about
their responsibilities.
As well. To turn around and say they fail to see how they can do any more about it. And I'm not naming names. He knows. I had the conversation with them on Saturday afternoon before the game. I just want to see something done about it. And it's not. This is not a case of being a sore loser at all.
No.
We expected this division to be a really, really tough. We expected this league to be a really, really tough league. Everybody told us to avoid it like the plague, because it's going to be really, really difficult to get out of there. One, because of discipline. Well, mainly because of discipline, we were told it was going to be extremely difficult to get out of. What I would say of the teams that we played so far, there's some really good players in there. Yeah. Some really good teams that play really good, attractive, exciting football. Yeah. I take that away. Don't take that away from them at all. What I would say is we have to take the dark arts out of the football. And it's not even dark arts now. You can actually see it. Yeah. It's not like it's getting disguised. It's been seen.
No, it's not getting disguised. It is being seen, and I think that's what makes it all the more difficult for referees to try and crack down on this, because they are 1, 2, or 3 people in amongst a sea of a contingency representing a club. And I think it's very, very difficult for referees in that moment to try and exact an authority in a division that has been known to have very little discipline to it. And I think that in the moment, all you can do is just try and be as diplomatic as what you possibly can. And that may even be, for your own safety, turning a blind eye to the antics that are going on. What I would say is that they do have a responsibility to file that into their match report afterwards. I'm assuming referees file match reports, based on games that they've refereed, and then that does go to the local league. These things need to be accounted for in that, the encroaching, the smoking, the drinking, the violence and the threats and outbreaks of fights, as we've witnessed in the last couple of games. They need to be brought to the attention of the league, who then have a duty of care, have a responsibility to uphold the good standards of football at this level, because it is good standards, and I think it's good practice for leagues down at our level to replicate those of ones higher up in the professional game.
We don't take it for granted, because we know that St Helens, when they were relegated from the Northwest Counties, went into the Liverpool County Premier League. They thought it was going to be easy for them. They ended finishing bottom of the division.
Oh. FC St Helens?
No, not FC St Helens. St Helens Town.
I see.
So we know how difficult this league is. We're under no doubts whatsoever. We could have appealed against the fact that we were put in the Liverpool County Premier League. We didn't. We didn't, probably based on the fact that we thought it was a smaller division. And as we know that, we only have to finish in the top 5 to be considered.
Yeah.
There's no more than 2 teams in the top 5 that are capable of getting promotion. Then it doesn't matter whether you finish 5th, 4th, or 3rd or 2nd. Yeah. You've got an opportunity of going up.
Yeah.
But what I would say is that a lot of my experience of referees and the people that I know that referee the game do not want to be refereeing in the Liverpool County Premier League.
Wow.
Whether they believe they're a cut above and they should be in the Northwest Counties. I think they get slightly more money in the Northwest Counties.
Yeah, it is semi-pro level.
So I think there's a little bit about that as well. It's less intimidating. It's more professionally run. But what I would say is, if you're a supermarket owner, so you've got 3 supermarkets. You've got one in Parbold, you've got one in Ormskirk, and you've got one in Skelmersdale. You run them. You employ people to run those stores for you in terms of management, supervisors, staff. You employ security staff. You might go through a third party, so you employ a security firm to do that. If anything goes wrong and people start shoplifting left, right and centre, and the security are not doing the job, who's the ultimate responsibility to change that? Whose ultimate responsibility is change the
manager of the store?
Well, the manager, but ultimately the owner. The owner cracks down on anything. So the person that is the custodian of the shops, whatever, if a security firm's not picking up on shoplifting, then they've got to decide how they're going to handle that. They don't just turn around and say, well, it was their job and we didn't see it, so it didn't happen.
Yeah, this is true.
I don't know whether it's... I probably should park the bus on that. Yeah, I probably should park the bus a little bit on that.
The words have been heard.
But listen, I made me point. All it is, you see, is I want to enjoy being a part of this journey in the Liverpool County Premier League, and I'm not feeling it at the moment.
No.
And, it's not so much shock as the simple things that could be changed to make it more of an enjoyment, and certainly having an alignment where we're not going to agree on everything, but we're going to agree on something. So from a chairman's perspective, a club perspective, to the league management, I want there to be a level of understanding that I don't think exists right at this moment in time, and the terminology is being used. Grassing. What's the difference between grassing and telling people that it's not right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting consequences. I wasn't expecting that particular team to be scrutinised. What I was saying is, here, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Take a look at it.
Yeah.
But equally, I'm getting told, well, it's not really our problem.
Yeah, just to make life easier, I suppose.
Yeah. Listen, so we've covered that point. Listen, we'll go to a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back to part two. As we say, no guest this week, but we're looking at fixtures, predictions, and of course the FA VARs, our result at the weekend, and everything else. See you soon. A heartfelt shout out to all the businesses supporting Skelmersdale United Football Club, especially T&W Garners and Pedro de Seda Enterprises. Thank you to everyone who donates to the club, supports our race nights, raffles, lottery bonus ball scheme, and the weekly draw in conjunction with NYCBA. A special thanks to those who organise such fundraising events, with a particular mention for the incredible Lee Davis and Rowena Hughes. To everyone who stands by us both on and off the pitch, we are truly grateful. If you wish to sponsor the show, please contact me at chairman.skemutdfc@gmail.com, or alternatively call me on 077 66054 548. All proceeds will go to Skelmersdale United Football Club. Thank you for your unwavering support. Hello and welcome to the second part of the Speaking Frankly football show, and still with me is my co-host AJ.
Yep, not gone anywhere today.
No, not gone anywhere today. So we're going to look through the fixtures, predictions, the FA VARs. We're going to look at Skems. We'll start with Skem, shall we?
Yeah.
I think we normally start with Skem, don't we?
We absolutely don't, but
in
let's...
this final part of the show.
So we played Sefton Athletic in the second round of the Liverpool...
It was the third, actually, wasn't it?
Was it the third?
I'm not picking. But
the third round of the Liverpool
Challenge Cup.
Yes, thank you.
I think it is. I get mixed up with the names of the cups. So.
It's a Liverpool-based cup that isn't. That's not
the cup. Anyway,
non-professional.
it's the cup.
Yeah, that's not semi-pro. But anyway, we were beaten by 3-0 on that day. A result that was possibly expected and I think reasonably deserved. On the face of it, disappointing though it was, we were second best for almost the entirety of that game. I think we amongst Skem fans and observers alike noted that Sefton were probably the best team that we'd come up against since we'd started playing in this division. And it was probably no surprise that they hit the front foot, forced us into a lot of mistakes, controlled the ball a lot, and were 3-0 up by half time. We came out in the second half. We looked a bit more composed in the midfield, but we just didn't build any chances beyond an opportunity for Toby Taylor that was saved by the goalkeeper, and the follow-up by Brandon Carrington, I think, was cleared off the line. Beyond that, though, we really didn't test their goalkeeper, so there's a lot to be said from this, but ultimately I think Sefton were probably the deserved winners there, and a fair bit for us to kind of go back to the drawing room and think about.
Yeah, well, yes, so we look at these teams that we've played. How many of these teams are actually good teams, or how many of these teams are we making look good?
I think Sefton is probably the only team who are actually good.
But I've got a different slant on this. I think the original game at Marine, I think we lost 4-0, didn't we, to Sefton, and we all remarked so far they look a decent outfit. And I'm not saying they're not a decent outfit. I think if you spoke to Andy, Andy will say he got the formation wrong, going with the back three. so that didn't help. We probably had the two, with no disrespect to them, but the two slowest centre midfielders on the pitch on the day. So in terms of putting pressure on the defence, that, and then reintroducing Joe Langford into the game as well, replacing David Bobchek in goal. There was a lot of changes, so we didn't have Darren Askew.
No.
We didn't have Alex Davis. I think if you'd have had them two midfielders in the game and you'd have had a back four, a totally different result. And I'm not saying we wouldn't have lost, but I think it would have been a much closer run game.
Maybe.
And I think when the changes were made in the second half, I think it was more down to the changes rather than the fact that they took their foot off the gas, because there were passages of play where Sefton were just as good as we seen in the first encounter at the Marine Travel Arena Stadium.
I think you were, I think they play an awful lot through the wings. They've got some really talented, big, fast wingers on either side, and I think they put our back three under real pressure there, and they were able to shift in field and kind of open up for the shots, almost at will until we changed to a back. We changed into a back four, didn't we? In the second half, and that kind of slowed up their opportunities. If you like.
Well, I said no disrespect to the two centre midfielders, but if you look at Fitzy's 41 years of age, cracking bloke, cracking player. How the hell he's not played much higher level than they actually did? But he's gone into the centre half position second half, and that shows you that with a little bit more resilience. So his job really is in defence rather than midfield, and I think he probably realises that himself. Now, I think we've got two pacey wingers. Well, we've probably got three or four of them if you want to play in them positions. So we can match teams in terms of pace on the wings. There's absolutely no doubt about that. We've got Sam Wood, we've got Reese, we've got Brandon, we've got Cameron if you play him on that wing as well. Cameron unfortunately was ill, so we had a lot of players out on Saturday.
We did
as well, and I think sometimes it's difficult. It's difficult to be.
We certainly weren't playing our first team there. There were at least 4 players on the day that we didn't have that would have made a difference. Well,
I mean, one we were expected to be there was Zach Thomas. Zach Thomas didn't turn up for some reason. I don't know why. But had he been there, we'd have probably made those changes a lot quicker. And put Zach in as a left back and gone back to reverted to a back four. Much sooner. We didn't. But I think sometimes the emphasis on what we got wrong can balloon out of control. If you realise you've got it wrong, then do something about it. I think with the 2 last games, you look at the result against the Grenadier, who are going to absolutely romp that lead. There's absolutely no doubt about it. The rest of them are sort of cannon fodder for them, really, aren't they?
I think you're right. I think. Well, I mean, they've gone 8 from 8 now. It's very little surprise. I don't think there's many teams in the top 5 that they haven't played. And the same with us. I think we're only... I think it's just East Villarreal that we haven't played are in the top 5. We've played Grenadier, Sefton, Nalgo, Joey's. We've played all of them. And beyond Sefton and the Grenadier, I think we can beat the others. I really do. I think we just... got to get the formation right on the day, and we need to have the personnel. I think things need to stack up for us advantageously for us to be able to do that. But I think again sort of proves that this league is a very, very difficult league.
Absolutely no doubts about that. So I just feel as though we might be being overly critical about ourselves. We know we know where the issues are. We know how we can resolve those problems. I don't think we're a million miles away. I just say that that if you've got a pacey midfield, if you've got two centre mids that holding up the ball can play, get it through them.
through the
create
channels.
those passages of play as well for us, which we know that the likes of Alex Davis, and we certainly know that Darren, who's probably been, throughout the time that he's played for us, probably been pretty much our man of the match in most games, alongside Leighton Rimmer in some of the early games.
Yeah.
Since Leighton came into back into the team. So I try to find a positive slant, and sometimes I think it's when you have two results like we did, and the disappointment of it really, because we didn't feel as though Sefton were unbeatable. That they did well. They took advantage of our lack of prowess, but our lack of like you say, 3 or 4 players out as well. That didn't help.
True.
So we need to. Well, we're moving ahead now, aren't we, to the game on Saturday, which is a must-win in many ways, so. Even though it's this early in the season.
Home game against Daysbrook, isn't it?
Daysbrook, Daysbrook.
Oh, is it at Daysbrook?
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me, I thought it was a home game.
No.
Right, okay. Yeah, I think we do. I think we've played too many games now that we've lost. We're still third from bottom by all accounts. And
I think we've gone bottom now.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll never go bottom because King Harry.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? We're technically in that relegation spot again after losing on Saturday.
Yeah.
Listen, it's there's no guarantee, but if we can get the right team together, the right personnel, then we're looking a little bit brighter going into Saturday's game.
I think so.
I don't know whether Darren Askew is available or not. I'm just trying to have a quick peek at the
squad list.
Quick peek at the table.
All right.
And what we do know is that Daysbrook are in 5th position, so it's not going to be easy. They've won 4 games, they've lost 4, they've drawn 1.
Yep.
They've got a +3 goal difference. They're on 13 points. But we look at those teams below. Yeah, if you look at the Grenadier, East Villa, Rail, we don't know a great deal about, but they're doing really well. 6 wins, 1 defeat. Liverpool, Nalgo, Sefton Athletic. Below that, really speaking, they're the teams that we've got to be beating in order to avoid relegation. And can we use that word relegation right now?
No.
But we have to be conscious of it.
Conscious, yeah, but there's 2 wins and we're halfway up the table. Yeah. We're so compacted as a table right now. It's only really the Grenadier that are pulling away. Everyone else is, within 3 results, and we can get back there. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't think we could really sort of conceivably be relegated here.
What we do know is that Darren Askew and Zach Thomas are back in the squad.
Right.
Cam O'Neill is back in the squad as well, so we know that we've got them available for selection for Saturday.
Good.
So that's a good. That's a bit of good.
Some stability there.
Yeah. I'm just looking there whether there's 1 or 2 more players that might surprise us. I'm just thinking. I don't know. Yeah, but listen. Anyway, should we move on to our predictions?
Fixtures and predictions, yes.
Fixtures and predictions. So we're
going to go back to last week, and our homework was done just prior to the game. And Frank was quietly confident in his results because he'd bettered his score from the week before. So Frank came in with 26 correct predictions, and I came in with 27. So for the second week in a row, I've ousted him by 1 correct score.
Yeah, well, congratulations. Listen,
thank you. 7-1.
I'm not going to. I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest with you. I didn't expect it to be. I thought I'd done really well, to be honest with you. But then I haven't looked at yours, so I don't know whether you're cheating.
Shut up! There's literally vocal evidence last week.
Yeah. Listen, you go online, you listen to last week's if you didn't get it, and tell me if he's telling porkies or not. No, listen. I think
as a vegetarian, I find that very offensive.
Anyway, listen. Well done on that.
Thank you.
I thought we'd done rather well because we
have.
How many predictions do we make per week?
We must make about 40.
40. So
40
to get
or so.
to get 60-70% of the predictions right, which I think both of us did. 26 out of 40, is that in percentages?
Yeah, so I got 27 and I got 13 wrong, and then there were 2 games that were called off as well. So 27, 13, so that's 40, and then it's 27 out of 42. So that is about 60. Give or take.
Yeah, 60%. Not bad, is it at all?
Not at all. Not at all. I will take that as commendable.
But listen, it takes on a completely different complexion this week now, because when we come to the predictions, I've got to start winning again. So listen, don't be looking at any of the early scores, because as everybody knows, we are recording on a Wednesday night at the moment.
Yes, we are.
So there's 1 or 2 games going ahead tonight. So we're going to look at those first. We've got AFC Liverpool versus Prestwich Hayes. So I don't know how to call that one.
No, I don't. So AFC Liverpool are sitting 3rd from bottom. Prestwich Hayes are sitting 13th. So to all intents and purposes, you'd probably be minded to say that Prestwich Hayes would win this, but they've lost their last 2 games.
AFC Liverpool have got the home advantage.
AFC Liverpool home advantage, but they've also unbeaten in their last 3.
Listen, I'm going to go for Prestwich Hayes.
I'm also going to go for Prescot Cables, I think.
South Liverpool versus Charnock Richard. I'm going for Charnock Richard.
I'm going to go for a draw.
Yeah. So tonight is also the second round of the Staffordshire Senior Cup. Eccleshall versus Abbey Hulton United.
Wow,
Yeah, it's an interesting one, but they got promoted, Abbey Hulton, didn't they?
They certainly did.
I'm going for Abbey Hulton.
I am also going for Abbey Hulton on that one. So it's the Staffordshire Senior Cup second round at the Stokes Signage Stadium. Try saying that 5 times fast.
Yeah. A really, really interesting fixture. I think this one is
Friday night.
Yeah, both struggling in the Premier Division. Friday night fixture, City of Liverpool versus AFC Liverpool at the community ground in Bearscope. Which way do you see this one going?
This is really weird because City of Liverpool have had a couple of decent results patched together recently. I mean, if we're looking at the form table, they've they're a bit of a mixed bag, but they've 2 wins and 1 draw from their last 6 games, including 2 straight wins, and then a draw in their last match, the 0-0 with Exton Villa. By contrast, AFC Liverpool have 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Me. And I say unbeaten in 3, but they play on Wednesday night against Prestwich Hayes, so they've got a 48-hour turnaround. With that in mind, I'm probably going to go for City of Liverpool.
I totally agree with you. You've taken the words out of my mouth. City of Liverpool. So moving on to the second round of the Isuzu. Is that how it's pronounced? Isuzu FA Vars second round, which is on Saturday. Charnock Richard versus Nelson. I'm going for Nelson.
I'm also going to go for Nelson. There.
I know there's a division between them, but I just think
form counts so much.
Nelson are doing really, really well. Albion Sports versus Holker Old Boys
at the Citadel.
At the Citadel, yeah.
That's interesting.
So they do we think Albion Sports are ground sharing with?
God, who was that?
Celtic. They played Farsley Celtic. Are they actually playing this season or not? Didn't they back out of the league? We need to revisit Farsley Celtic because we haven't heard much about it.
No, we have not.
So, with that in mind,
I'm going to say Albion Sports. Home advantage counts for a lot, particularly against Holker Old Boys. I'm
going for Holker Old Boys.
Oh, it's just worth pointing out that the Charnock Richard versus Nelson game is a 2 o'clock kickoff, so make sure you get there early.
Yeah. Barnoldswick Town versus Winsford United.
Winsford United,
they got promotion last season, didn't they?
They certainly did. They won it as the Canter.
Yeah. I'm going for Barnoldswick. What did you go for, Winsford?
Yeah,
I'm going for Barnoldswick. Brigtown versus West Didsbury and Chorlton.
West Didsbury and Chorlton, there's no doubt about it.
I'm going for Brigtown. Brigtown did relatively well in the FA Vars last season, if memory serves me correct. Did they beat Atherton LR?
No.
Didn't they?
No, that was...
Well, listen, you look at it while I'm...
Yeah.
Bearscough versus Ashton Town. Now, this is probably the tie. It's certainly in the Northwest Counties. Two teams in the Northwest Counties. A division between the two of them. I don't think Ashton Town are going to be a walkover, but I just think Bearscough is showing great promise at the moment.
Yeah, they're just on a serious power run right now, aren't they?
I'm going for Bearscough.
Yeah, I'm also going to go for Bearscough.
Cheadletown versus North Shields. I'm going for North Shields.
Yeah, I'm going to go for North Shields too.
Crooktown versus
Bournetown. Bournetown beat Atherton LR last year.
Correct. Did they play Bricktown then?
No, they didn't.
Right, who played Bricktown at the Northwest Counties?
I
can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Crooktown versus Ramsbottom United. Crooktown have a really sort of... do they have a romantic allegiance to the FA Vars doing well in them? Certainly think they did well in the Amateur Cup days as well.
Yeah, I think you might be right there.
So what are we saying? Have you gone for Crooktown or Ramsbottom? I don't know what we're doing here.
I mean, it would help if I knew anything about Crooktown, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, they're in the Northern League Division 1, so technically they're a division below.
Yeah. They lost to... Oh, did they beat Newcastle? No, they lost to Newcastle Gold Star in their last game. Lost to Guysborough before that. Yeah. Lost to Horden Community Welfare. You see where this is going. So they lost their last 3 games.
I'm going for Ramsbottom United.
I am also
purely based on a fabulous run at the moment. And talking about Crooktown, I don't think they've ever done particularly well in the FA Vars, but they certainly did in the Amateur Cup, winning it no less than 5 times.
Yikes!
Yeah, so
alrighty.
Yeah, blast from the past there. Droylsden versus Northwich, Victoria.
You've got to go for Northwich on that one, surely.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you?
You really would.
Yeah.
What are they?
I'm going for Droylsden.
Okay.
Yep. Liversedge versus Atherton LR.
I think there's a natural allegiance towards Atherton LR at this point in this studio. So
yeah, I'll go for Atherton LR as well.
Up the LR.
Yes. Prestwich Hayes versus Earlham. I think Earlham would be slightly too good for them. Redcar Town versus Chadderton. I normally would say Chadderton Town, but their form is indifferent.
Their form is a bit indifferent. Redcar playing at the Molan Memorial Park.
Yeah, I'm going for
Redcar. The former secretary for Northern Ireland. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Redcar, I think, on this one.
South Liverpool versus Barton Town.
Barton.
Barton, yeah.
So Barton.
Barton, not Barton.
Yeah, Barton. Over in East Riding of Yorkshire.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for South Liverpool, I think.
Right, okay. Yarm and Eagles Cliff versus Fullwood Amateurs at the Sovereign Supply Chain Stadium.
You've got to love the sponsorship of these things. It's amazing.
Sovereign Supply Chain. Yeah. It sounds as though there's a bit of money there. I'm going for Yarm.
Yeah.
Not knowing a single thing about them, but I'm going for Yarm.
I'm going to go for Forward Amateurs because I just really like them at the minute. I love how well they're doing in the in the domestic league, and I think Spencer Lucas, who's on an absolute flyer at the minute, is going to come in with some goals there. Yeah,
fair enough. Saturday, still Premier Division. Moving on to the Premier Division, Abbey Hay versus Wythenshawe. I'm going for Wythenshawe. Yeah. FC St Helens versus Padiham. Definitely Padiham for me.
Yeah, I'll say that too, but only just. I think FC St Helens will make it difficult for him.
Yeah, Longridge Town versus Exton Villa. I'm going for Longridge.
I'm going to go for a draw.
Yeah, Stockport Town versus Glossop North End. I'm going to go for a draw there.
I'm going to go Glossop North End. I just think Ashley Connor's just gone on a bit of a winning run. I don't see that stopping down at this point.
FC Isle of Man versus Pilkington, 6 o'clock kickoff. Obviously over at the Bowl in the Isle of Man.
FC Isle of Man, since the change around in manager, had a bit they've had a bit of a change in fortunes. So they're unbeaten in their last 5 games,
few draws,
winning 2 of them. Yeah, whereas Pilks have lost their last 5, so I'm saying home win there.
Yeah, I mean, me sort of gut instinct says that there's going to be a draw there, but I'm going to go for FC Isle of Man.
Yeah, fine then.
First Division North, AFC Blackpool versus Ashton Athletic.
AFC Blackpool.
AFC Blackpool. Colne versus Darwin. Garstang versus Maghull. Squiresgate versus MSB Walton.
Draw.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Where are they in situ?
So Squiresgate are fourth from bottom, 15th. MSB Walton are 16th.
Yeah, I can see why you'd go for a draw. But listen, I'm going to go for Squiresgate.
All right.
Yeah, Steaton versus Daisy Hill. Daisy Hill. Thornton Cleveland's versus Baker Borough. I'm going for Baker Borough.
Draw.
Oh, right, controversial. Yeah, I think Baker have done reasonably well, haven't they, since they
pulled some seriously good results out of the hat here, but Thornton Cleveland's equally have done so. I mean, they're not on the best run at the minute. They've lost their last 3 games, but they did go 3 unbeaten before that, and I just think up there on that Fylde coast, I just think that makes it a little bit more difficult for Baker Borough, especially travelling literally the length of the M58 and the M55, and a bit of the M6 in between.
So you're going for Thornton?
I am.
Or a draw, did you say?
Did
you say a draw?
I said a draw.
A draw. All right, First Division South, Barlton versus Foley Mere.
Barnton.
Camelard versus New Mills. I'm going for a draw there.
New Mills.
I'll go for a draw. Eccleshaw versus Asheville. Well, they're both up there and thereabouts.
Eccleshaw are just a bit more up there than up there, aren't they? They've just done so well, but so quietly and slyly well. I'm saying Eccleshaw.
Yeah, let's go for Eccleshaw. Where are we? Eccleshaw. Yeah. Market Drayton Town versus Cheadle Heath Nomads. I think off the back of a 7-0 battering of Wolverhampton the other day, I think I'm going to go for Cheadle Heath Nomads.
Yeah, I'm going to say a draw, because I think Market Drayton had a really strong result against, really strong performance against Stafford, although they didn't get the result that they wanted. And I think home advantage might play a lot for Market Drayton.
Runcorn Town versus Stockport Judges.
Whoa, first versus fourth. I think they'll get a. I think Runcorn will carve out the result there, but only just.
Sandbach versus Allscott Heath. Sandbach
7th, Allscott Heath in 9th. I will say a home win for Sandbach as well.
Yeah, Shawbury United versus Alsager. Got to go for Alsager there.
I say Alsager too.
Telford Town versus Wolverhampton Sporting Community.
Nice. Telford Town. And then the bottom of the pile, Hormond going to Wolverhampton Casuals, 17th versus 18th.
Right.
I'm going to say Wolverhampton Casuals. But I think this is going to be quite a low score.
Wolverhampton Casuals are just above Hormond. So they're in 17th place. They've only played 13 games. Based on that, with Shawbury just being below them, I'm going for Wolverhampton Casuals. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Monday, the 10th of November, Division 1 North, Main Road versus Ashton Town. I'm going to go for Ashton Town.
I'm going to say a draw. I don't know if you know this, actually, but Conor Reddy has left Ashton Town. He's signed for
I was going to say that to you.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
It doesn't surprise me either. I think he's a class act, but I think in losing Conor Reddy, I think they've lost their main creative linchpin, and I think that might hurt them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say a draw.
Yeah, it makes sense. Tuesday, the 11th of November, the Premier Division, Atherton LR versus Earlham. I hate to say it, but I think Earlham will win that one.
Yes,
Barnoldswick Town versus Longridge Town. I'm going for a draw.
I'd say a draw there too, actually.
Cheadle Town versus Chadderton. I'm going for Chadderton.
I'm not too convinced.
Yeah.
Cheadle Town are 15th. Chadderton are 9th. But Chadderton do make a bit of a mess of it. It's bizarre. I will say an away win, but only just.
Yep. Padiham versus Charnock Richard. I'm going for
Padiham.
Prestwich Hayes versus Abbey Hay.
The Hay derby.
Hayes.
Draw.
Right. Withenshaw versus Ramsbottom. A really interesting game. And I think, we talked about it before. If you were going to put your your house on it, you'd go for Ramsbottom right at this moment in time. I think if they beat Wythenshawe, you'd not only put your house on it, you'd stick your wife in there as well, wouldn't you?
I ain't got one. But yeah.
I hope Rowena doesn't listen to this, but so I'm going for Ramsbottom.
I hope doesn't listen to this podcast. She's listening to us recording it. He's shot. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's probably the biggest test of Wilkes's run so far in this season. I think he's doing outstanding, as we knew that he would, but I think this is the major test of mettle. If he can overcome this, I don't think there's any doubting that he'll at least make the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with you. Exton Villa versus AFC Liverpool.
Exton Villa.
I'm going to go for another draw. Crikey, you did all the draws last week. I'm going for all the draws this week.
Yes, you are.
Tuesday the 11th of November again, First Division North, Cone versus AFC Blackpool. I'm going for AFC Blackpool.
So am I.
And First Division South, Wolverhampton Casuals versus Shawbury United. Interesting one that, because like we said before, Shawbury are in difficulties at the moment. They're in 15th place. Wolverhampton Casuals are in 17th place. They've got games in hand on Shawbury. It's a bit of a 6-pointer for them, isn't it?
A little bit. Yeah.
Either one or. I'm going to go for Shawbury United.
I'm going to say a draw here.
Yeah. Listen, it'd probably been a better guess being a draw, but yeah, listen, that concludes all the fixtures for the rest of this week, the weekend, and before we come to you again next week.
Yeah.
And listen, normally at this stage I ask the question, what have we learned this week? But a slightly different topic. How do you relax after defeat?
How do I relax after defeat? God.
Because what people don't realise is that it's a culmination of factors. There's things going on in your personal life, your work life, and your football life. And when you combine them all together, sometimes they can come together. All the bad bits can come together at the wrong time. Okay. Health is another one of them. Yeah. I'm struggling with my back. I've managed to do this show, and I'm in a tremendous amount of pain, which makes it very, very difficult to relax anyway. The cold, when it gets to it, makes it worse. So having a bad result, I mean, fortunately, Rowena shares the same interest in me, and our primary aim is to make sure that the football club is successful. So we share the disappointments in equal measure. Yeah. I'm fortunate to have a wife that I can discuss it with. I know a lot of people don't, and there's nothing wrong with that, because not everybody likes football. It's not everybody's cup of tea. But how do you relax? Because I know you're fully invested now. I mean, you've been with us over a year now, and you've thrown everything into it. And you can see all the emotions, whether it be football matters, off the field matters, work, strikes. Are you back at work, by the way?
I am, yeah.
You did say that you were back at work on Monday. Did you go back to work on Monday? Yeah?
I did, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. So you must be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Glad to be keeping busy, back in a bit more of a routine these days. Yes.
So these are all factors that don't really help you.
No.
In your sort of football life. So how do you cope off? What do you do to relax?
God.
You got back into your running, cycling?
I tend to do that in the morning before football happens. And I think at the minute, the nice thing about being in a team that's sort of this close is that you end up stopping for a pint, which I never really sort of did last year because of how many games that we lost. But these last 2 games that we won were lovely. So I just sat with Andy and Barney and, yourself and others, and we just had a bit of a laugh and a joke over a pint. When I get home, I tend to I have to take the dog out for a walk. So that's my kind of ruminating on the result, if you like. And then once I'm in the house, I might play a bit of Sudoku, might watch the telly. And I think if Skem lose, I'm a bit more reliant on whether United win to kind of...
It can kind of give you the boost, kind of.
Soften the blow a little bit, yeah. So last week was a really disappointing result for Skem, but United managed to win, so it was a little bit easier to bear.
I don't find that. I mean, obviously Everton played. Who did we play?
We played Tottenham last Sunday.
Yeah, we played Tottenham on Monday, didn't we?
Yeah.
Was it Tottenham? No, it wasn't.
It was Sunday. Wasn't it Sunday?
Monday. No, Monday night we played. Who did we play? We drew 1-1.
Oh, was it Wolves? No, it wasn't Wolves. You should have won that game.
The pain that I'm in now has distracted me from my memory. But whoever we played, we went 1-0 up.
Yeah, and you should have scored more.
Yeah, we should have scored more. I think for the first half an hour, we were the better team.
Yeah,
and I think they only had one sort of shot, and that was a deflection, wasn't it? By what's his name, the centre half?
Tarkowski. Yeah. Sunderland,
that's it. Sunderland. Yeah, I should have thought that because it's another club that Moyes has managed.
Sunderland, God,
yeah. So I mean, I don't. I like to see Everton win, and I am an Evertonian, but it doesn't really help me when Everton win. I go through the motions of depression until the next game, and then I'm full of hope and ambition again, and then somebody goes and pees on me chips.
It's the hope that kills you.
Yeah. So I mean, if it's an early enough kick-off, it's well documented. I like going to the bingo. So I went to the bingo on Saturday, and I think I won nearly £300.
Shut up! No, you didn't.
Yeah, nearly £300.
Bugger!
So
what?
Yeah, between Rowan and I, we made a profit.
I mean, for crying out loud!
It's not cheap though. We played the tables. That could be quite expensive if we don't win on them.
That's what it is.
Not that we've got a gambling habit, but what we've discovered is that we share something in common. That when we do actually go to the bingo, we switch off from more or less everything else.
God.
Or we can do.
You're really invested in the bingo, aren't you?
Oh, yes. Listen, I should now. Well, this show now should be sponsored by Mecca.
You should message them in, St Helens, it might be a bit tricky because, they've probably got about 3 or 4 teams that they could immediately sponsor. Skem doesn't have.
But have they got an active chairman that's actually going to their bingo hall?
Probably not.
No. So listen, Mecca St Helens, if you want to sponsor the Speaking Frankly football show, you're more than welcome.
Please.
All
proceeds going to Skelmersdale United Football Club.
Yeah.
Or a holiday for the pair of us.
So off the back of what we've all said, what we've already said there is, what have you learned this week anyway?
Oh, God.
Not to take it all too seriously.
Try not to take it all too seriously. It's the hope that kills you. I don't know. After the last couple of games, it's been a bit difficult to, manufacture major positives out of this. And I like to think that I'm as positive as I can be. But I think for now, for this one, I think the thing that I've learned is to try and maintain as much professionalism as what we can do in our emotions to what's going on the pitch and our emotions to what's going on off the pitch. And I think that's the only way that you'll be able to kind of keep coming back and believing that, tides can turn for you.
I am a glass half full kind of guy. So with that, like I said, we had that 2-week period where we were pulling everything off in terms of sponsorships, new kit, fundraising nights that made money, winning 2 games back to back. It's easy to forget that when you have a couple of defeats, but we know in terms of manpower, when that is reduced, and it will always be the case, there will be inconsistencies throughout this season. So what I try to do is I try to put that to one side and be as positive as I can. I find it really, really difficult because the pain that I'm in, I'm going to have to.
Literally,
I'm going to have to see. I'm going to have to see me surgeon at some stage to see what can be done about it, because I was already sort of half offered the operation many years ago, but they said because it was just below where they'd already operated, it was a little bit more technically worrying you know, in terms of nerve damage, because I've already got nerve damage in my right arm, my right hand. But yeah, listen, yeah, football's not the be all and end all, and it's difficult to say that to people that support Skem. There's a lot of people now that are supporting Skem from their armchairs and waiting for the moment that they become successful and then they'll come back. Whether that means when we start winning a series of games, or whether it means waiting until we get a new stadium and they come back to that. And that's all well and good. I keep saying, isn't it? Listen, it's about survival. Yeah. Survival of the fittest. If that means surviving at a lower level like we're doing now, then we just got to keep doing that until it happens. Yeah. So I'm trying to retain that glass half full kind of attitude to it all. But I'm beginning to feel at this stage that I'm compromising my health in doing so, and I need to. And I don't need to back away from the football. Take it less serious at times. I don't know what I'm going to say. I am a glass half full normally. I feel as though I'm just turning into glass half empty.
Well, that can happen when illness gets on top of you.
Yeah, and I don't like that feeling. No. But that said, I just go back to what we do, these pre-match breakfasts, brunches, and the get-togethers that we have with people where we very rarely discuss football and have a really good time. And probably, like you say, one of the remedies to defeat is that we still get together after a game and have a pint, albeit, you know, for me, a blackcurrant soda, but, you know, we stick around and we have we sort of dissect it a little bit more then, rather than mull over it for a full week before, or you know, until the next training session. I think sometimes that we need that psychological boost after the game as well as before it.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
So I think if I was saying anything to anyone now, I would be saying to Barney and Andy and the players is, listen, you've had a defeat, let's all meet in the pub afterwards, just spend half an hour in there together, having a conversation, you know, interacting with each other after the game. I think when you have a defeat, certainly when you're a footballer and you have a defeat and you just walk away from it, you don't thrash anything out. You don't get enough time in the changing rooms to do it. No. So where else should you do it? You should do it after the game, you know, over a pint, game of pool, whatever you need to do. Exercise it so it exercises your head ahead of the game, the next game. So yeah, I think if I learnt anything, that the camaraderie's got to be there after the game, even in defeat. Yeah. And as we can hear the fireworks going off on Bonfire Night, it is the 5th of November as we record, we will leave the final words to the dulcet tones of AJ.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ Vergette, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. This podcast is available on most streaming services wherever you get your podcasts, including Amazon Music and Spotify. Please rate and review, as we do enjoy hearing your feedback. Please also subscribe so that you can find out first when a new episode of the show has been released. We're also on social media sites, including X and Facebook, under the banner term Speaking Frankly Football Show. And so on this 18th episode, it's goodbye from me and Frank, and we will see you next week.